Elizabeth Taylor's friend reveals which of the legendary star's 7 husbands was best in bed exclusive. The late actor's favorite partner in bed was Richard. Absolutely. No question about it. Her sweetheart for life was Richard, reveals friend Vicky Tiel. What do you expect me to do? Sleep alone? That phrase, made by Elizabeth Taylor at the height of her affair with Eddie Fisher. He was married to Debbie Reynolds, and she was freshly widowed, took on a life all its own. So much so that 14 years after Taylor's death in 2011 at age 79, Hollywood's last great supernova is now being branded the first reality star in the docuseries Elizabeth Taylor. Rebel Superstar, now streaming on Fox Nation, executive produced by Kim Kardashian. Taylor Swift also pays respect to the star's daring love attitude in her new song, Elizabeth Taylor, from the life of a showgirl, which name-checks her violet eyes, favorite romantic haunts, such as Portofino, and her signature perfume, White Diamonds. Taylor's pal, fashion designer Vicky Tiel, tells people it's not a surprise that people are still talking about her. She was the most famous woman on planet Earth, adds Tiel. The 2 women met in Paris in 1964. Taylor, then with her 4th husband Richard Burton, wanted to discard her formal 50s style of long skirts and beautiful sheets. She threw away the old clothes, the Dior look and the fitted suits, adds Tiel. It was so old lady. We were now in the 60s, the sexual revolution. Elizabeth adored that. From then on, she always wore my little dresses. Tiel traveled with her in the late 60s and early 70s, spending many months with her and her entourage in the finest hotels all across Europe on numerous film projects. We talk about sex all the time, she admits with a giggle. The star's favorite companion in bed, she reveals, was Richard. Absolutely. No question about it. Her lover for life was Richard. She was very fun, adds Tiel. She took sex very lightly. She taught me a lot, too. If something awful happens, you just roll your eyes, grin, and don't worry about it. She would just always laugh and be joyful. She was a very, very happy person. As for Burton, whom Taylor married and divorced twice, she carried him with her to the end, says Tiel. He died in 1984 at age 58 of a catastrophic brain hemorrhage. Before Richard died, I think 2 days before, he called me up, Tiel recounts. He said, I don't think I'm going to live very long, and I just wanted you and Ron, Tiel's and husband, makeup artist Ron Berkeley, to tell Elizabeth I'll always love her the most. I love her forever and ever. And I miss her, and I love her with all my heart. Soon after, Tiel went to visit Taylor at her house in Bel Air. She's taking a bath, she recalls. She said, well, come on the bathtub. So I go in the bathroom. She's got a bathtub, and all the way around is a ledge around her bathtub. It's all frames of diamond edges. Not real, but I mean magnificent frames, maybe 20 frames surrounding the bathtub. It was just images of her with Richard. Taylor, who co-founded the Foundation for AIDS Research, AMFAR, in 1985, and Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation in 1991, is a touchstone for a new generation for her bold and unapologetic life. As she once summed it up, I was always a rebel. Meanwhile, the Elizabeth Taylor estate, which co-produced a 2024 documentary on HBO Elizabeth Taylor, the lost tapes utilizing hours of interviews from the mid-60s, is thrilled with a hint from the other Taylor, Taylor Swift, says Taylor's son Christopher Wilding. She and my mom do seem like kindred spirits. They are both the absolute embodiment of female empowerment. Elizabeth Taylor was far more than a movie star. She was a phenomenon whose life transcended cinema, defining an era while influencing generations that came after her. The article emphasizes her romantic life, particularly her deep and enduring connection with Richard Burton. But beneath the sensationalist headline lies a portrait of a woman who embodied complexity, resilience, and unapologetic individuality. Her 7 marriages, often highlighted in tabloids, were not just romantic escapades. They were reflective of a woman unafraid to pursue passion, experience love fully, and embrace her desires, even when such choices defied social norms or invited public scrutiny. Taylor's life serves as a prism through which broader cultural shifts can be understood. Her embrace of sexual freedom and joy position her as a pioneer during the sexual revolution, challenging conservative ideas about female desire and agency. Yet, she balanced this with elegance, humor, and a playful approach to life, demonstrating that liberation need not come at the cost of grace or sophistication. In sharing these intimate aspects of her life through the lens of Vicky Tiel's friendship, the article reinforces Taylor's authenticity. She was both larger than life and profoundly human, capable of deep emotion, enduring love, and heartfelt joy. Fashion, too, was central to Taylor's identity and influence. By shedding the formal, restrained styles of the 1950s and embracing the bold, expressive fashion of the 1960s, she made clothing a statement of independence and self-expression. Her willingness to experiment and reinvent herself visually mirrors her approach to love and life. Fearless, playful, and unapologetically herself. In doing so, Taylor created a blueprint for how celebrities could use personal style not merely for fame, but to communicate identity, values, and cultural alignment. Moreover, Taylor's life exemplifies the early evolution of celebrity culture into what we now recognize as reality-driven fascination. She was a rebel superstar long before the advent of social media, reality television, and influencer culture, living a life so vivid and public that it became a source of both entertainment and inspiration. This pioneering aspect of her celebrity resonates today, with contemporary figures like Kim Kardashian drawing parallels between their own lives and Taylor's precedent-setting openness. Taylor's existence demonstrated that a celebrity could be both artist and spectacle, deeply private and widely admired, complex yet comprehensible, a duality that modern audiences continue to find compelling. Her humanitarian efforts add another dimension, demonstrating that her influence extended well beyond the silver screen or personal relationships. Through founding the Foundation for AIDS Research and the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation, she leveraged her fame for meaningful social impact, using her platform to address critical global health issues at a time when public discourse was fraught with stigma and fear. This facet of her legacy ensures that Taylor is remembered not only for her glamour or romantic life, but also for her courage, empathy, and vision in service of others. Finally, the article highlights the intergenerational appeal of Taylor's life and ethos. The homage paid by Taylor Swift in her song Elizabeth Taylor bridges decades of cultural production, illustrating how Taylor's persona continues to resonate with young audiences navigating fame, self-expression, and empowerment. Her life becomes a mirror through which contemporary women can see possibilities for self-determination, boldness, and joy. Christopher Wilding's commentary reinforces this idea, framing Taylor and Swift as embodiments of female empowerment. One as a trailblazer of her time, the other as a modern interpreter of that enduring spirit. Or,